the Giants and how you can't really be mad about them.
I'm not.
And it just makes sense. Like, at the deadline, or right before the deadline, I remember I sent down a tweet. I said, man, they're a year away from being a year away. And I can't believe it's playing out like that. They are a year away from being a year away. Like, Patrick Bailey, by the way, the Pro Bowl video is cool. You set the tone on the whole Pro Bowl video.
Cool.
That was cool.
It
that was really cool.
Kind of took me by surprise.
That was really
my
cool.
audio.
That was really cool. They need some positive Giants fans.
Well, honestly, I'm like really like, again, it's the same thing with Purdy. Stop comparing them to all-time greats.
Yeah, no doubt.
Posey's like off to the side by himself. Bailey's been a lot of fun.
He's been fun.
He's been a lot of fun. But like, I love the guy. Like, Posey, you could plop in the 4-hole. Even though I never thought he was a 4-hitter, you could plop him in the 4-hole and he could anchor a lineup. I just don't think Bailey's there right now. So when I saw the lineup yesterday, I'm like, he's more like, right now he's like a 6-7 hitter, right?
It's tough.
And that's not a knock. He's a rook. But his glove is elite.
With this lineup, what are you going to do?
Exactly.
I mean, Conforto's been struggling. Estrada was struggling. Sable's struggling. Crawford's struggling. Lamont Wade Jr. struggling. J.D. Davis is now back down to 245.
I know.
So much for the Austin Riley All-Star. Jock Peterson's down to 233.
Bro, Jock.
I mean, it's just, it stinks. And yesterday I looked when they were making all the moves before the game. I go, boy, Casey Schmidt we're high on, back in AAA.
I know.
Luis Matos, I love Matos. Should bat second. Back in AAA.
Yeah.
Marco Luciano, after getting a cup of coffee in AAA, strains his hamstring. Thank God for Patrick Bailey, because in the development conversation, saying, well, at least the Giants are developing guys. That goes out the window if not for Patrick Bailey.
You want to go optimistic or you want me to go pessimistic?
Do both.
Well, no, I'm going to do either or. Like, you want the good or the bad?
I want the good and the bad.
All right, so let's start with the bad. The bad is this. I looked at a guy at third base yesterday, and I go, who the hell is that? And they were like, oh, he's a 6-year pro. He was down in the minors. And I'm saying to myself, what are we doing?
Camargo.
I mean, and then Kruk is trying to sell me, and I love you, Kruk. He's trying to sell me on like, oh, he's got a great arm. He can play all around the diamond. The guy couldn't even make a simple coming in play from third. He booted it. I'm just
coming in out of the infield.
I just shake my head. Okay, here's the optimistic, real quick, just to have a little laugh. Wade Meckler looks like all of the created players I've ever made for MLB The Show.
Yeah, he got
5'9". Give me the glasses, the all black shoes. Like, the whole look was like me trying to make myself in MLB The Show. I'm rooting for him.
I never heard of Wade Meckler until 3 hours before.
Oh yeah,
or when the move. I was like, wait, and then they had
He's a
whole
fast riser.
Yeah, they had again in this system and with Farhan Zaidi.
But he batted close to 400.
He batted close to 400,
level.
no doubt. That you get credit for that.
The story of him being like 4'10" as a freshman in high school and getting cut multiple times. I sent that to my Little League team. That's a pretty damn awesome story.
So I
don't know if he's going to be any good.
So he's 23, 5'10", 180 pounds.
He went to a powerhouse program at Oregon State for baseball. It's
Oregon, it is a powerhouse.
It's considered a powerhouse. Maybe that's strong.
Well, no, they won a couple national championships last decade.
Jacoby Ellsbury. There have been a lot of really good players to come through that program.
So he's from Anaheim, born in Anaheim, California. Anyway,
I felt bad for his mom and dad. They were sitting there. The camera was just on him and I felt bad for.
At least he drew a walk. At least he drew a walk.
Well, at least they didn't pinch hit for him late in the game like Luciano did.
So the Giants are just kind of playing out the course. Guru tweeted at me yesterday, said they're just having open tryouts. It's basically tryouts in the dog days of August.
So this is like what's that? Invincible?
Right. I mean,
but let me be optimistic.
No, look, seriously. I mean, they're in the playoff hunt right now. If the playoffs started, I hate doing this, but if the playoffs started, they'd be in the wild card. They got the second wild card.
They've overachieved thoroughly.
They're half game up on the Marlins. They're a game up on the Cubs and the Reds, and they see the Cubs and the Reds in the near future. The Diamondbacks are 3.5. The Padres are a mess, 6.5 back. So really, the Marlins, Cubs, and Reds are right there on the Giants. It's going to be between those teams for the last two wildcard spots.
So, here's 2 points of view. I'll go optimistic first, and then I'll go pessimistic on the other side. Optimism. Patrick Bailey. If you want to support Farhan Zaidi and say to me, Joe, he is an outside the box thinker. He's really, really smart. He's really shrewd when it comes to his decisions. He's calculated. He knows what he's doing. They selected the prior regime, Joey Bart, number 2 overall.
Right.
The very next year is Farhan's first draft. And within 4 months, whether he made the assessment on Joey Bart and knew that Joey wasn't that guy, or whether he stuck to his conviction and he said, I'm just going to draft the best overall player. Either way, he gets credit, tremendous amounts of credit, for selecting Patrick Bailey. Clearly, that was a great pick. Now, I also want to go a step further here. They throw him into the minor league system, and he didn't hit like he's hit at the major league level, but he hit enough, and the glove was there. He won a minor league gold glove. They rose him in the system at timely times. They brought him up at a timely time. Everything seems to click. You get credit for the development, the maturation, the draft selection, the assessment across the board on Patrick Bailey. If you want to be optimistic on Farhan, to me, stop telling me about all the pitchers. Stop telling me about the bullpen that he's created. The everyday player in Patrick Bailey is the guy that he can hang his hat on. If you wanted to support Farhan and say this is the guy for the future, you would point to Patrick Bailey, wouldn't you?
He gets credit for one player.
No, I'm saying like if I wanted to be super optimistic, this is why he's the guy.
That's being very optimistic.
Now let me take the other point of view.
Very optimistic because that's one player.
I agree.
That's one player out of all these players we've seen come up, come down, come up, come down, may even get traded, come up, come down, designated for assignment like Luis Gonzalez.
So then let's go to the other side. If you wanted to be pessimistic against Farhan, I think you could point to Elliot Ramos and you could say to yourself, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What do we do? So the guy comes up last year, and he wasn't ready, which I will, you brought him up. He didn't look good. And then he doesn't see the light of day at the end of last year.
Well, here's a pessimistic point of view here.
And then why do you acquire A.J. Pollock and then a week later come up with a fake injury for him?
Not even a week later.
And then you bring Ramos up. He's tearing the cover off the ball. Why is he not in the lineup?
So 707.